I not kept quiet as if no, it wasn't my dream, you know. It was, you say, are you sure you don't want to? I was like, what? I was like, well, I don't mind though. He was like, okay, go and look it up. Like, go and look for schools. I already done that, but I still told him, okay, I'll go and look. So I went, we looked up schools I can learn, found one of the top 10 schools in the US to go to. Like, I'm going to do this. So after I finished my master's and all that, I moved to California. And then after a while, I applied, for the program. And before like making that decision, my fear was like, how do I leave this computer science thing where it's like the it thing, it's the in thing, it's where all the money is. Silicon Valley is like, imagine stepping up to somewhere and tell them you work in Silicon Valley as a woman, an African woman and all of that, like mad respect, And then it's not as if I didn't know myself too. And so there was that, and there was the other pen, okay, what family member, like other family, aunties and uncles, and all of that. And it's like, then personally for me it was, am I really trying to start again? And this is me in my 20s, though. Can you imagine how silly that was? It was like, how am I going to start again? Like, I've done all this, I've studied this thing, I've done masters, Like, I'm literally like pausing and starting a whole new like line of work that I have no experience in. I'm going to go back to school, go through all that process and all of that. And I was really scared. Like, inside me, I was really, really scared of starting afresh. Like, what will my friends think, Because back then in college, there were just two of us, two ladies that were in the computer science department. And, and then people had mad respect for us because we knew what we were doing. And in my mind, I was like, okay, what will these people think? What will my colleagues think? What will my friends think? Aunties, uncles, what will society think? That she's unserious, that kind of thing. So that was that. And all of that fear. And then one day, I think God just spoke to me and was like, you have to make a decision. It's either you're going to just allow this fear take over and just stay in your CS lane and do whatever, or you're going to give this a chance. And I thought to myself, I was like, I think I'd rather give this a chance and fail at it and know that I tried and then continue what I was doing than not even give it a chance at all. And I thought to myself, like, so if when I'm 50 and I look back on my life, like, how am I going to feel about this moment? I mean, there are things I've bought that I still regret today that things I didn't buy, I saw in the store. So how much more my whole life, So I was like, okay, I'm going to give this thing a chance. I decided to go to school, and I did all that. And then another fear, too, that was along the line was when I was in college making these beads, there was this girl that, in my mind, she was a friend. We used to roll together and all of that. And then, tried to sell her my beads one time. And then she said something to me that, like, literally shattered my whole being. She was like, oh, nah, that this is not good enough. Like, the way she even said it and everything was like, no, when you go make something better, call me, let me know. And I think it hurt because I thought she was like, I took her as a friend. It's different if a stranger tells you that. You can kind of like just get over it and be like, yeah, whatever. But as somebody that you feel like, okay, so that like literally, also that now became a driving force that, okay, whatever, sure, one day we'll get there, So yeah, there were different fears, I'm like, okay, I'm this so age, I'm starting all over again, what do I know about jewelry, what do I know about starting a business? I've tried doing, like, selling jewelry, like, as I've said so many times, I didn't quite work out until now. And then the whole thing, okay, what am I going to call the brand and all of that? And I started my whole research. Zivanora is actually a combination of two Hebrew words, Zivanora, and it means shining grace. And then, so that came, I sat down one day, I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I started thinking, I was like, what matters to me? Definitely my life with God matters. I want something that is going to stand, even though, like, over time you learn and you get better, So I went to the Bible, I did all that, I got the name, and then the tech side of me also has to make sure the name makes sense. So I had to go online, make sure the domain was available. I did my whole UI thing of, okay, is this name easy for people to remember and pronounce? Because at first I wanted to use my name. And I was like, I remember how my name has been so butchered. And it's like, first of all, people keep spelling it all type of ways. I was like, okay, that's not going to work. So I was like, I did all that. Okay, this name works on a spiritual level for me. This name works on a technical level for me. Okay, boom, let's do this. So registered the domain even before I started the business, did all my paperwork and all of that. This was while I was still in school and all that. So yeah, with the fear, and till today, there's always, and when you start, it's like, okay, who's going to buy from me? Like, who's going to think this is good enough for them to buy? Like, your first real sale is outside of your family and friends. Like, one random stranger will be like, this is good enough for me to give you my money. So that has been the fear at different levels. Like, okay, you're come to do business in Nigeria. Nigerians, they say that, they don't buy this, they don't buy that. But we have money, and we spend, on things. So in a nutshell, that's kind of basically been the story of overcoming different fears at different points to get to, where I am today.
Please, can we just give everyone a round of applause for that, for their Do It Afraid stories? Now, annoyingly enough, it's like this question just sucked up time, but we still have to touch on really important things. I want to ask, literally the whole time I've been like, who am I going to ask next? Because I have so many questions for each person. But I want to talk, you guys have talked about the Do It Afraid of starting. But I find that a lot of people, when you start businesses, entrepreneurs, the challenge becomes growing and sustaining. And for Medbury, I know that, like, literally, I just saw that you have branches everywhere. How did you scale up? How did you, I feel like the problem, well, maybe not the problem, but one of the challenges that entrepreneurs face is moving out of your house and expanding. There's a whole new fear when you have to deal with all of that. How did you overcome those fears, and how did you get to the point where you scaled so large?
Okay, is this the good mic? Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, the first question you want to ask yourself is, in your minds, when you say someone owns a hospital, for example, what is the picture that comes to your mind? It's probably an old man with gray hair, right? Or an elderly doctor, or somebody you can respect, Imagine if you entered into a room and then you saw some young, lanky lady that wanted to, see you. Probably be like, who is your boss? Can you get your boss, So that question is very interesting because that was one of the key problems I had before I started. But I had always taken a decision that I wanted to build an institution that could stand on its own outside of myself. So even from day one, that was at the back of my mind. There were a couple of challenges I had, and that was the fact that I didn't look credible at the time, even till now. And it will shock some people to know, some of my clients don't even know that I own the company. As of today. A lot of people might not know us here because we are into occupational health, that's workplace health. So we work with companies and organizations. So if you were to go to the oil and gas industry, for example, I mentioned Medbury, a lot of people know us. We work with various multinational brands. And you can imagine, then, 5 years ago, I was half my size, I was in my youth corps uniform, and I would just go to Exxon and say, hey, ExxonMobil, give me work, I'm the MD. You can imagine. It would have looked very funny, I thank God that today we work with various multinationals, but you see, for us, it was about building systems, process, and institutions. Even when we didn't have anything, it was about building the right foundation and building the right process. It wasn't, I never wanted to build a one-man business. I never wanted it to be, about me, right? There was a lovely lady that spoke earlier on, Kain. I don't know if she's still around, right? I'm definitely buying something from you, whatever it is. You are fabulous, just the way, you speak and all. And she said something about doing the work first before the brand. And that was something that we did. We invested in our process, our system, our people. For me, it was always about the brand. It was always about the quality that you bring to things. What did our clients have to say about us when they gave us a chance? I'll give an example, a very quick one. I remember when we were moving to Port Harcourt. At the time, I had never been to Port Harcourt in my life, but there was an opportunity in Port Harcourt to do a medical screening for an oil and gas company. And I went for the presentation, as you said, something similar to what you did. I went for the presentation in Victoria Island. And I went and I sat down and I said, well, I can do this job for you. And the guy said, do you know anybody in Port Harcourt? I said, no. Do you know any, do you have any hospital or facility? I said, no. But you know what? If you give me a job to do, I'm going to do it fabulously well. This is what has been entrusted to us in the past, and this is what we've been able to do. And I remember that day he said to me, okay, I'm going to try out this lady in Port Harcourt. I'm going somewhere. And I remember that day I said, okay, how can I get the best value for this client? So I picked up my phone and I started calling people. Please, who knows a hospital in Port Harcourt that I can work with? Oh, what's the best hospital in Port Harcourt and all that? And they gave me a hospital in Port Harcourt. So I said, okay, I can't go to Port Harcourt. I sent one of my staff to go to Port Harcourt and go and check out the place. Does it have quality? Does it meet our standards and all that? And he said, yes. So we went into an agreement with somebody I'd never met before. And as God will have it, that deal became very good. We were able to deliver on it. And we got to a point where we said, oh, we cannot use this facility anymore, this partner facility in Port Harcourt. But we didn't have money to build our own. So what did we do in terms of scale? We said, okay, let's look for other opportunities. So we went to a big hospital that was not being fully utilized. And we said, okay, give us a room in your hospital. And they gave us a room in that very big hospital. We hired a doctor, we hired a nurse in that small room in that hospital. And because of the quality of what we were giving, because I was very passionate about the quality of the service, and about turnaround times and about making our clients happy, what happened was that room became too small for us. So you will find out that the people coming to our small room were more than the people coming to the big hospital, And it just got to a point where we grew to the point where we couldn't stay in that small place anymore. We had to get our own place. And then we got our own place. And, we just continued to grow. But in terms of scaling, right, it's about using what you have. And it's about also being very innovative. Some people will say, and there are many different ways of starting a business. You can write a business plan and go to Silicon Valley and say, there are 180 million people in Nigeria, give me $100,000. A lot of people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or you can say, what do I have and how can I use it? And that's something that we've done. But I would say building process and building systems. Don't say because you are the head of the hospital or the head of the organization, you can fire people. No. Let people know that there's a process and there's a system and there's quality, and then your quality will begin to speak for you. It's very interesting now. I'm working with somebody, they don't know I'm affiliated to Medbury, and they're like, go to that place, Medbury. That's the place you should be going to. That's the place you should be going to. And I get that feedback every day, and I'm like, wow. A lot of these people don't even know that I own the company, really. But we've been able to scale that way by building process, building systems, ensuring that our clients are happy and being innovative.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So not thinking like a one-man business. Thinking outside of yourself is how you then grow the capacity. Thank you so much. I want to ask Nere the next question. So mining seems very fancy. You with Kian Smith and gold, and then you have this historic mining license that no one has ever had. In the process of doing this, you have actually affected policy and done all of this stuff. So it looks very fancy. But I want you to speak on the difference between creating a massive-looking organization that looks fancy and then the struggles of what financial success looks like at the same time. So money in your bank account versus big, fancy company with potential. And how do you balance both?
Okay. Just to correct something, the historic license is a refining license, a license to refine, to build the first refinery, not to mine, because there's actually many mining licenses. I want to be very careful because I feel very responsible for a lot of people here. Sometimes people see, you see other people and it just seems so romantic. And I want to dispel that notion. Everyone is called, and everyone's call looks different. In our case, I think part of why God took us through the process is because He was bringing us here to Nigeria to develop something that would take several years before it would come to fruition, before it would be profitable, where we were going to do things where you were going to be changing lives, artisanal miners, bringing things together. And I think it's important to say that because sometimes a lot of people who have ideas, you feel under pressure. And like I said, business is a call, transformation is a call. But there's no, like I said, I'm well educated, so I really understood that what I was doing is not the way a business should go. If you're looking at plans, like you were saying, someone mentioned business plan, investments and co. So I think what I want to say first is that the passion, sometimes people don't do things. There's a call in you because you're looking and you're saying, I know realistically this will not make money. Or this is not going to make money anytime soon. And you stop and you don't pursue it because you're consumed about looking for something that's going to make money soon. And I think we do ourselves a disservice because true wealth, really, there's a scripture that I think Jesus says, if you can't handle pretty much filthy lucre or cash, who would trust you with true wealth? So in a deeper way that we don't really realize, like when I think about at the end what God is doing, I would never have imagined that he would bring us through this process of almost 80 years of investing, you were saying, process, infrastructure. We were working with artisanal miners. We have at least 500,000 artisanal miners. They're not our staff. Each one's an individual business that we're working with. We're doing what we can to help them get banked. It's empowerment and it's transformation, but that has not been our profit, cash. Our own profit is going to come later, soon, within a year. So I want to say that realistically, that sometimes what you're called to do is not going to give you money in the first year. You're going to build people. You're going to build infrastructure. You're going to transform. The reason why Nigeria is a mess is because everybody's looking for what will give them money quickly. So true wealth, really, at the end, is what's going to bring you health and long-term development. If we are thinking about true wealth, realistically, the initial instance isn't money. However, we do need money. So to be transparent, what we're sharing earlier is, I told her, I said, I tell everyone, think inside you. What are you going to do to make ends meet? For money, for food, for all of that. And that thing may not be what God is calling you to. God may tell you, people will take care of you, all that. But I think it's better realistically to do that great thing that's going to transform. Very unlikely is it going to be something that gives you big money instantaneously or in a year or that 2-year plan. But if you're going for true wealth, I'm thinking of what Olawale was talking about earlier, our population, the wealth, the true riches. It's not money. And true wealth that has never been seen, no one's going to trust that to someone looking for money because you're not going to bring out true wealth, which is people. So I think a lot of things that eventually will bring even riches, it's not going to take you a year or two. It's going to take you the suffering you were talking about. You're trying things out 10 years, you're persisting, and your character has been forged. So I just felt like I had to be transparent. I know it's a business discussion about wealth, but I'll be honest. If you look at our parents, our grandparents, and they tell you their stories, those people we respect, it didn't happen in 2 years. So on one hand, the core of what you really feel you're meant to do, don't drop it because you're afraid you're not going to make money. Go after it. You will never be fulfilled if you don't do it. However, there's going to be some things that will come in your lap to help bring revenue so that you can make ends meet. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you so much. I love that. It's like there's the passion and then there's the calling of God on your life. There's that thing that you just have to do. And then there is money to eat every day. And sometimes those two things are different. And sometimes you have to do the one that brings you some money to sustain while you're building the one that is more long-term. I think it's important to note that a lot of people think that you start a business and if in like 2 years it hasn't started to make money, then you quit. Even if in 5 years you start to quit, but then there are people who 10 years of starting businesses, 8 years of working in mining and no one knowing anything about you. People have been building, it could be a lifetime of working here. Our time is actually up. But I'm going to throw out a question to I don't know how many people I can squeeze in, but because we're talking about endless ocean and endless opportunities, and we have a very diverse panel with from different industries, and I just want to, if we can touch on for 1 minute, I'm going to kind of eat into a bit of time. If everybody can just say very briefly what opportunities that people can tap into. So we're all watching, we're all listening, and we want to know what can we tap into in each of your industries, because I know people don't necessarily think of medicals, the medical industry as somewhere that you can just come and try to make some money here or there. And I know how difficult it can be in the creative industry with production and movies making money really, things like that. So can we start from you, Boyo, please, opportunities, and then we'll just kind of run this way.
There are a lot of opportunities. People first start out thinking that the main thing about being in the industry is to act, but there are other things. If I'm just going to very quickly, makeup artists, there's so many opportunities in the industry, and I'm not just talking about standard glamour makeup. It's makeup for special effects. There's just so much. I would also, of course, encourage that you go and train for that. There's opportunities in art direction. You might think that, you have a calling in terms of decor and drawing. And if you just do a bit of research, thankfully we have the internet, there's just so much online. You can actually start and understand that field. Of course, there's a lot in special effects. There's a lot in just being even a production manager. I mean, it doesn't sound glamorous, but it's a start. And it's if you're good at logistics, organizing, you can do it. Casting, location scouting. If you have a calling from real estate and you have an understanding, you might be interested in knowing that we actually employ people to do that job, to go out and find us places to do our work. There's so much. I mean, I don't want to talk for too long because now we have a limited amount of time. Music, if you're interested in music, performing, there's a place in the film industry. There's a lot of opportunity in the film industry, and it's not just about acting or directing or producing. The more sort of glamorous things you hear about, there's a lot. Costume design, you know how to make clothing, cutting and sewing, you can be a huge part of the industry. So, yeah.
Can we get something from auto tracking and Essien, please? Just any other opportunities that people can tap into in your industry.
Okay, well, people buy cars every day. That's the truth. And people steal cars very, very often. I won't say every day, very often. So, the police is working. So it's such, it's an endless opportunity. So it's something, being the only female in an industry that has over 120 men. I mean, there's room for many other women to be there. So yes, there are opportunities in the vehicle tracking industry. It takes a lot of integrity because you have to go through SSS screening. So yeah, there are opportunities there, and I would encourage any woman who is interested in that line of business to look into it. There's also vehicle repairs. In the course of doing installation, sometimes we have challenges with the vehicle. There are female installers, there are female mechanics now. There's just a whole lot of opportunities there.
Thank you so much. I just feel so rushed. There's so much more we're supposed to get out of this. But can you share a tip? I'm going to move to you. A tip, something very crucial that you have learned since you've been doing your business that you think can help people who are thinking about either starting their businesses or growing their businesses, that has helped you kind of hold on the entire time?
Very quickly, before I kind of get into that, regarding the opportunities, in jewelry, the jewelry industry worldwide makes I'm trying to be all nice and prim and proper here, but makes a whole lot of money, contributes a whole lot of money to the economy. And for 2020, that number is even supposed to increase by 15%. And in Nigeria, we are not even part of the 1% of anything that is happening in that industry. There's still a whole lot of space for metalsmiths, for goldsmiths. We have all the metals in this country. We have platinum, we have gold, we have silver. You can ask her. These are metals that some countries have to import from wherever to get to, and we have it, and we are sitting on it. Nigeria has some of the best gemstones the world can find. there's a stone called Sepistine that became popular by Tiffany and Co. And that stone is here in this country, and we have the best quality of that stone. And there are a few countries that have really good quality gemstones. Places like Sri Lanka, their rubies and their sapphires, are very like top-notch, stones. Something this small can be up to like $1 million or $2 million, And then we have really good stones here. So there's opportunity for mining metals. There's opportunity for mining gemstones. There's opportunity to be a metalsmith or a goldsmith if you're kind of like a crafty person like I am. There's opportunity to be a jewelry buyer, kind of like the fashion industry. You don't always have to be the one making. You can be a buyer that is sourcing for stores or for boutiques, be a person that sources for movie sets and all of that. There's like so much, you can be a kind of person that you have an eye for certain things. Okay, they're acting this movie. This person's character is like this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I know this brand, I know this brand, I know this brand. There's space for that. The industry here in Nigeria is I won't even say it's tapped safe. Like, we haven't even put on the tap at all. So there's a whole lot of room for people that are interested in jewelry at different stages and at different levels. And then coming to your question about tip on how to,
Like one thing that you have learned on your journey that you think can be, that can help the
Okay,
audience.
I guess one thing is just to keep going at it. There was something my uncle told me when I was coming back to Nigeria. He was like, quality and consistency. So every time that rings like at the back of my head, it's like whatever it is, like trying as much as possible to keep increasing or building quality and be consistent, because if you're not consistent, you're never going to get to that place, like I said before. Consistency comes by every day. You do this today, you do this tomorrow, you keep going, because if you give up, then the journey just ends there. Like, that's it. So I guess I would say quality and consistency. That every time I want to move to the next thing, for example, now I decided to create a training, would I call it like a school for metalsmiths? So people that are really curious about jewelry, they want to learn how to make jewelry. And it was like, okay, I started thinking about all the money involved and all of that. But it's like I told myself, so if I give up now, how do I build that dream? Because I'm passionate about jewelry. It's not just about making. I want other people to get into this, those that are passionate, to learn and to designs and so many things are out there. We don't all have to make the same thing. And that's the fun thing about jewelry. Like, your style can be like this, very minimalist. Your style can be very edgy. Your style can be very traditional. Your style can be very like eccentric or whatever. Like, there's so many outlets and avenues for everybody. So it's like, yeah, so if I give up on that, how do I, so I have to like remember to say consistent. So quality and consistency. Yeah.
All right, so lastly, let's hear from Mr. Landwey himself. If you can also, your story is very interesting because you failed a lot, but then you've come to this place now. However, when people see your profile, they only think of the fast, in 2 years, exponential amount of money. Can you talk to people who are still, despite everything we've shared, looking for a way to make fast money and to try to get everybody to calm down?
So let's just get it. I didn't make fast money. She was saying something that, see, there are two things. You have passion inside of you, and sometimes depends on what you want. Because that passion can turn to passion and beat you mercilessly. Yeah. You see, there are two things. Economic survival is key. Sometimes passion won't pay your bills. I can fund any passion that I have now. If my passion is to eradicate poverty in Ayetoro, that's what's on top of my head now. I can go there and start a vocational school and start telling people I can fund that without even feeling it. But if that is my passion, I can't go to Ayetoro and they'll give me money. That won't even pay my daily bills. So sometimes when you're looking for economic survival, what I tell people is that this is the mistake that we're making. Let me emphasize, I didn't make quick cash. I started at 17. I didn't make it until 27. Do the math. So the thing is, how many of us here, you have a library? Can you put up your hands? You have a library. I'm not saying bookshelf. Now, People think that library is where you go to and then you pick a book and you read. Yes, one of it. But I see library as a place you go to consult. And guess what? We all have library. Your phone is your library. See this thing? It's more than Instagram, it's more than Facebook, it's more than all that. When I see people fail, I tell them one thing. That I failed for so many years, there is nothing spiritual about it. Really, I've had so many, God said today that I started asking myself, Wale, are you born again? From Omilola to Wale, come on, are you born again? Really? But I'm born again anyway. So the thing is that people fail so much because, the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Sometimes, what you need is research about that single thing you want to do. People fail because they don't have enough information about that thing. I've met a lot of people that will tell me, Mr. Wale, I wanted to invest in my business, and I will just sit them down. And by the time we start talking, I'm like, I have so much information in this thing that you even want to do, than you will just waste money. So people really fail at so many things because they lack the ability to do research. Anything that you want to do. See, Google is the Solomon of our time. Leave my English alone. It's not making money for me. That is the Solomon of our time. And you can really go there, the information that is on that platform alone, about anything and anything you want to do. By the time you come out, your head will be bigger. I'm telling you. Mental capacity is what a lot of people fail to use. And as long as we have a huge population that are not maximizing that ability that is online, sincerely, people will keep failing and will spend time to power must change hand and nothing will be changing anything on a more serious note. I tell you that go online about that thing you want to do, study hard about it, read hard about it. I studied petrochemical science. Am I doing anything petrochemical now? Nothing. Everything I'm doing today is online. We have a research department in my office. We never touch anything without at least 90 days of research. And you dare not bring anything to me that I give you without getting to the 10th page on Google. I live my life like that. And I tell you, any idea we come up with, it is always like, magic. It's not magic. We spend time doing research. Yes, we do all these things in school, project topic and all that. At the end of the day, they just touch it all in one room. What other countries are developing that, so this is where a lot of people are missing it. So if you want to make fast money, learn how to make fast move online first. All right? And anything you want to do, think of the tech angle. Technology is the future. We are researching on prop tech now, spending a lot of money on prop tech because that is the future. People are building houses now just by 3D. A lot of things are happening. See, guys, everything is online. See, Instagram, phone, and everything is addiction for everybody, including myself. I told my wife, I said, see, this thing, sometimes it's even cutting short our prayer time. You wake up in the morning, you want to see what is happening. Yes, we know, it is real. But I tell myself, see, the way I can make that a learning platform, I unfollowed everything and anything that is not even adding value to me at all. So that even if I'm on Instagram all day, I'm learning something from that platform. All right, guys, thank you very much.
So much. Our panel has been amazing. Time has been up for about 20 minutes. But I hope you were taking notes. Don't be afraid of failing. Know yourself. Everyone here seems to have a strong sense of themselves or their talents or their skills. And even if they didn't, they figured it out. Google. Mistakes give you experience. Experience reduces mistakes. What you have is enough. And your story doesn't have to be the story of people around you, so don't compare yourself. There are so many more pointers, but I just want to thank you all for being such an amazing panel. I wish I had 5 hours with you as opposed to just one. But thank you all so much. Please give them a round of applause. Let's take a picture before we go. Also, there are stands at the back. Zivanora also has a stand at the back, so you can come and ask questions about jewelry.
Thank you very much. Amazing panel. amazing speakers, amazing insights. There's no time to go into all of it, but I hope you are taking notes. Did you take notes, yes or no? My notes are full, so not every time village people. Let's stop all this village people thing. You shout, I receive, I receive. You went to church today, you quoted, God has not given me the spirit of fear. Now it's time for you to do, and there's so much to do. So start doing. All right. We're going very quickly to a very interesting segment. It's the exhibition expose. We have an exhibition arena. We have vendors. Trust me, there's endless Ankara. There's endless food. I saw one endless hair like that. Thinking maybe I should, talk to them about it. Endless everything. We also have giveaways from August Secrets. We have House of Tara. She's giving out beauty cards worth 20,000 naira. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. And after that, we'll talk about money. So right now, I want to encourage you to move around, network, meet people, take pictures. If there's someone that you like her dress, tell her I like it. Where did you make it? If you want to talk to the speakers about something that was in your heart while they're around, go and meet them. Don't be ashamed. Do it afraid. Meet them afraid. Tell them, see, I want to intern under you. Yes, let's talk about skills. If you want to learn, start building your skills now. Go and meet people. We have props, Do It Afraid props. We also have Do It Afraid journals. I brought some of them. And we have the richer woman in French. So please go to the Do It Afraid stand. You'll see different things there. There's even one sticker here. I can do it afraid. So that when your village people come back, because they're very stubborn, just tell them your sticker, I can do it afraid. You too, tell yourself, I can do it afraid. Go to the Do It Afraid stand, get things there, buy things for your friends, for your loved ones, take pictures, use the props, network, just have fun, and eat, freshen up, just feel free.